The bomb just dropped at the Santiago Bernabeu, and Real Madrid fans are already in panic. The season has barely started, and bad luck has already knocked on the door. And look, this story even involves a possible tactical change in Xabi Alonso's team. And what if I told you that one of the best defenders in the Premier League could join Real Madrid for free in 2026? And that there's already some swap deal being lined up behind the scenes, without anyone paying anything? That's right, the next Rudiger could already be on his way, and some big names might lose a player for free in the process. If you're a true Madridista, as passionate as we are, subscribe to the channel now. Here you'll find daily content about the greatest club in history, with information, emotion, and that craziness only real fans understand. Real Madrid just confirmed Antonio Rudiger is out for at least 3 months. The German defender, who had been a key piece in the Merengue defense, played normally for Germany against Northern Ireland and Slovakia. Everything seemed fine. He looked good, but during training back in Madrid, he felt his left leg. At first, it seemed minor, but after medical exams from the club, the diagnosis hit like a knife: injury to the rectus femoris muscle in his left leg. For those not used to the terms, it's one of the most annoying and time-consuming injuries for a defender. And Real Madrid has already announced Rudiger will be sidelined until at least mid-December. But it doesn't stop there. With La Liga's winter break coming right after, the club could hold him out until January 2026 to make sure he returns 100% at the start of the new year. In other words, we could go more than 14 league games without the German, not counting the Champions League matches. Xabi Alonso now has a huge headache. Because while he just got Eder Militão and Dani Carvajal back from long injuries, on the other hand, he lost his most experienced center back. And here comes the cruel question: who will play alongside Militão? Dean Huijsen is the immediate alternative, a promising youngster but still too raw to handle that kind of responsibility alone. And David Alaba, still recovering and with no set date for his return. To make matters worse, the Spanish press says Xabi Alonso is already considering changing the system to play 3 center-backs, with Carvajal as the third man, and pushing Trent Alexander-Arnold further up. The defense has become a puzzle, with no extra pieces. If you're also outraged by this streak of bad luck, drop your comment below. What would be Real's ideal defensive pairing without Rudiger? Militão plus Huijsen, or better to improvise someone else? Now hold this. Real Madrid could secure one of the most solid and promising defenders in the Premier League without paying a single penny in transfer fees. We're talking about Ibrahima Konate, Liverpool's French defender, currently 26 years old, who has been consolidating himself as one of the pillars of the Reds' defensive system in recent seasons. Pairing with Van Dijk, he not only kept an extremely high level of performance, but also earned a spot in the French national team. His profile fits perfectly into Real Madrid's sporting project. Young, with top-level European experience, physically strong, technically skilled, and above all, with room to grow. But what really put Konate's name on Santiago Bernabeu's radar was a key factor. His current contract with Liverpool ends in June 2026. And so far, there hasn't been significant progress in a renewal. This triggered an alert in Madrid, where they closely monitor every market move, especially when it comes to potential elite reinforcements that can be signed without a transfer fee. Something that has already become a specialty of the club in recent windows. According to reports from both the English and Spanish press, Liverpool is worried about the real possibility of losing the player for free. And that's where Real Madrid steps in. The Merengue directors are well aware that both Rudiger and Alaba's contracts also expire in 2026. And with their ages advancing, the club is already planning a strategic renewal of its defense. Konate is now seen as one of the main names on that list of successors. And more than just interest, sources like Defensa Central indicate that there's already an informal understanding behind the scenes between the player's entourage and Real Madrid representatives. Nothing signed, of course, but the expectation is that if the defender doesn't renew with Liverpool by the second half of 2025, Florentino Perez and company will move quick to seal a pre-contract and secure the Frenchman for the 2026-27 season. the operation is seen with optimism inside the club. Real believes that, besides being a rare market opportunity, Konate could arrive as an undisputed starter, ready to take command of the defensive line alongside Eder Militao, or even new names that may still emerge in Xabi Alonso's sporting project. Liverpool, meanwhile, is already working to avoid being left unprotected. According to the British press, the Reds are moving behind the scenes both to try to renew with Konate and to find an immediate replacement if the player signals his departure. The top name? Mark Guéhi, current Crystal Palace captain, also under contract until 2026. A defender with high technical quality, strong leadership, already integrated into the England national team, and with a similar profile to Konate in terms of age and playing style. This whole situation could lead to a sort of silent swap between the clubs, Liverpool losing Konate for free and trying to replace him with Guéhi, also at no cost, a chess game that requires surgical precision behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Real Madrid continues with its calculated and strategic approach. It doesn't rush, but watches carefully, waiting for the right moment to strike, just as it has done with other big names in recent years. And the fact that the club is so clearly anticipating the departure of two experienced players like Rudiger and Alaba shows how serious the planning is to keep the defense elite at the highest level for many years to come. What do you think? Would Konate be a good replacement for Rudiger? Or do you prefer another name for our defense? Leave your comment below. It's not only worry for Madridistas. In the middle of so many injuries and uncertainties, there are finally concrete signs of relief and hope for the squad led by Xabi Alonso. During a recent press conference, the Merengue coach confirmed extremely positive news that could change the mood in the locker room and reignite the fans' confidence. Jude Bellingham is recovering faster than expected and might return to the pitch earlier than the initial timeline given by the doctors. To recall the context, Bellingham underwent shoulder surgery during the European summer. The procedure was considered delicate, with an estimated recovery time of at least 3 months. The initial expectation was that the young Englishman would only return in October or even at the end of the month, depending on how his body responded to the treatment. However, the current signs are extremely encouraging. The player is already taking part in partial training sessions with the rest of the group, no physical contact yet, but doing ball work, movement, and integration with his teammates. According to Alonso, there's a real chance the number 5 could be fit in time to play in the derby against Atletico de Madrid, which would be a true morale boost for the team, especially in such a demanding phase of the season. Bellingham's importance to Real Madrid goes beyond statistics. Even with little time at the club, the 21-year-old midfielder has already established himself as one of the technical and emotional leaders of the team. His presence on the field means much more than technical quality. It's intensity, energy, personality, and vision of the game. He has become a reference both on and off the field. The possibility of having him back before October would be an early gift for Xabi Alonso, who has been facing serious limitations in the midfield. Without Jude, the team loses creativity, box-to-box presence, and also defensive attitude, since the Englishman is one of the top contributors in pressing after losing possession. But the good news doesn't stop there. Another key player is very close to returning, Eduardo Camavinga. The Frenchman suffered an ankle sprain at the end of last season and was going through a longer recovery process, also treating accumulated physical issues. Now, according to the coach himself, Camavinga has already been cleared by the medical staff to return to full training, with contact and complete participation in first-team activities. The return of this duo is absolutely crucial for Alonso's plans, as he seeks to consolidate his playing philosophy based on intensity, possession, and quick recovery after losing the ball. Both Bellingham and Camavinga are key pieces in this model, and the absence of both in the opening rounds forced the coach to look for emergency solutions and change the tactical setup a lot. With their gradual return, Real Madrid's midfield regains shape, balance, and competitiveness. Players like Tchouaméni, Valverde, and Kroos have been holding things together, but clearly feeling the wear. Having top-level rotation options again will allow the coach to think about multiple formations, better control the tempo of matches, and even prepare bolder strategies for decisive clashes, both in La Liga and the Champions League. The only less encouraging news in this context is Ferland Mendy's situation. The French left-back is still out, and according to Alonso himself, he will need a few more weeks before being cleared to train with the group. The forecast is that he'll only be available in October, which keeps the defensive concerns alive, especially with the workload on the full-backs. In any case, the prospect of getting two crucial names like Bellingham and Camavinga back soon completely changes Real Madrid's recent outlook. The team, which started the season facing serious problems in the medical department, can now look forward to a stretch of matches with its backbone getting closer and closer to ideal. If you made it this far, it's because you love Real Madrid as much as we do. So hit the like button to support, comment on which player should arrive in 2026, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Here it's every day a deep dive into the merengue world. We're together, Madridistas.